Hey everyone, Mark here from Northside Marine, and I'm finally here with our much anticipated video, the 2350 Supercab walkthrough video. So in this video, I'm going to run through all of the features on our particular model, our particular Profish model that we have here. So for starters, I'll start at the bow and we're going to run through everything on this boat. So it's going to take me a while because this boat is feature packed. So one of the first things you'll see on the new 2350 is this blade style bow rail. So they've actually dropped down the central bow rail and they've incorporated this absolutely beautiful bow light. So it's taken away the reflection that you'll get off any bow rails or bows of a boat. It's quite a smart idea, and that's really going to help with the navigation at night, coming into boat ramps, even loading it on the trailer. So a really, really great idea, but it also allows for the step on top of that. So if you needed to dock onto a high docking area or something, that's another option for that. So something that hasn't been on a Stabicraft previously. Moving around, you'll see this one here is fitted with a very large and very highly engineered bow mount plate. So the forces that these Minn Koters and Garmin and electric motors, etc., put on the front of the boat is very large. So they've obviously re-engineered this to be very strong to take some of those big new Minn Koters and etc. that are being released on the market. This is a really smart looking feature that they've come up with. So instead of doing a stick-on bump strip, they've now gone onto a very, very hard, basically riveted on option. So this is just riveted on all the way down the side of the boat as a fendering. It really looks nice, but it's certainly an improvement on some of the things that they've done in the past. So definitely something you'll see on the new 2350. But also just the styling. So trying to keep up with the rest of the Stabicraft new model range that they're bringing out. They've gone with this flat glass, angled screen. It is a really sharp looking boat out on the water, and certainly gets a lot of comments. Another thing that's quite noticeable on this new 2350 Supercab model is just the size of the cab. So it's a very long cab. It's more like a cabin cruiser. But what that does is it just gives you a huge amount of room inside for your family and friends. We'll jump on board in a second, you'll see, but you probably just noticed the length of that cab, yet they still have really a nice sort of cockpit at the back, so good fishing deck space, but obviously there's a bit of a trying to compromise for both situations, give you a really nice protected cabin and still a good fishing deck on the back of the boat. So, and on the transom as well, it is a very new design. So they've tapered back these pontoons here that you'll notice that are very different to previously. So it opens up the back of the boat, allowing for more space here on the transom. And they've also sort of brought that transom area a little bit bigger. So we are a sole Yamaha dealership, so this is a big single 300 on the back. And this one's got the inbuilt electric steering. So what that also does is means there's no hydraulic lines, it's very clean. Now we do have this single loom, but it's still accessible to walk across the back of the transom, which you possibly don't get on a lot of other outboard trailer boats like this one. Now, it is important to understand that this is a highly optioned 2350 Supercab, and I have ordered a lot of the factory options available. So these are actually now factory fitted. I had this out on the water on Sunday, which I'll explain more shortly, but these zip wakes just came into their own because it was about 15 knots, certainly coming on quarter on, so they did come into effect. And even when people were moving around the boat, it was very good that they're an automatic set of trim tabs, and they were just automatically doing any little minor adjustments. Obviously a very stable boat, but trim tabs can still be a pretty handy little thing to have. Another option that we went with on this particular 2350 Supercab was the factory fitted Helm underwater lights. So these are a very good quality underwater light, and I mean, it's during the middle of the day today and it's nice and bright in here, but obviously at night time that just illuminates the whole back of the boat. Really great for things like bait fish and squid, but obviously aesthetically very good looking as well. So a lot of our customers enjoy having some underwater lights, and it's good that we can now order those as a factory fitted option. So we're now going to jump on the boat and we're going to run through all of the features that we've got on this particular boat, but this is a highly optioned boat from the factory. We have a little walk-through transom door in there, which I'll just get off to the side, and we'll jump on board and I'll run through some of the many features that this boat has. So we're up here in the 2350 Supercab now, and you'll notice just this very large cabin area. So on the back of the cabin, this one's got what they sort of call drop curtains. So we've currently got this central bit rolled up. This is very easily removed completely on a nice hot day we get here in Queensland, or you can obviously drop it down to give you a little bit more protection, but also keep the cool out in the winter months, etc., etc. So in some climates this is going to be very beneficial. Now at the back of the boat here, you'll notice that we've got some beautiful speakers that come with the standard stereo package in the Profish model. Some really nice rear deck lights made by Nava, so all very good quality equipment on these boats. A huge number of rod holders. I think someone counted them for me on the weekend and said they could count 21 rod holders. Now with the transom on this 2350 Supercab, we've gone with the game transom. So what that does as a standard feature is give you these top two drawers and a fully welded live bait tank and tuna tubes. So that is a little bit different to some of the transom configurations that you will see available for this model. But we here also optioned for a third box at the bottom. Now the reason for this is we just like to keep our batteries up off the bottom, but also in a secure sort of area. So keep them free from any salt spray and things like that. So there is a number of transom options that you can order with the 2350. It's important to talk to your dealer just to make sure you know exactly what it is you're going to be getting, because there are options with an ice box underneath, a few other different options. But yeah, we've just gone with what I think looks very smart, and that's a twin tackle drawer system and a full battery storage system down here. Now we've also got additional storage in there as well. Now on the 2350, they have gone with basically a slide out seat option in the corner here. So that just means that pushes in, gives you a little bit more opportunity to get right in the corner for your fishing and things. And they've gone to a dual, basically port and starboard bilge setup. So on both sides of the boat, there's a pickup. One side is here for the live bait tank. On the other side, there's a pickup for the tuna tubes. They both have a automatic bilge pump as well. And then we also have down the back here access to things like our fuel filter, any additional batteries that we may want to fit in future, including things like for a Minn Kota, there's an option to fit them down the back here as well. But that's just the new game transom on the 2350. And obviously for seating, that's another step to get in the boat, but also another seating option. So yeah, just a nice little workable area out the back here. Then as we move into the cabin, this is something I really love. And on Sunday, I was able to just take this boat out whale watching with 7 people on board, including some kids. And this seating and this cabin configuration was just absolutely fantastic. It was quite a rough day, probably 15 knots offshore. There was a bit of water getting thrown around, and for everyone to just be nice and comfortable in here. We were talking, it was quite quiet inside this cabin. We didn't even have windows open and that sort of thing because it wasn't too hot on that particular day, but it was just a nice little area for everyone to keep out of the weather, and basically we were able to all enjoy our time on the water, even though outside was quite a rough day. So yeah, some other options that this particular boat has got. We've gone with the upgraded seat box option. So really cool. We actually have an actual little pie oven here. So the idea is that we can obviously reheat food, pies, sausage rolls, things like that when we're out on the water. It's becoming a very popular option. But not only that, they've actually incorporated into the actual seat box itself. So it looks really smart. There's also a Dometic slide out fridge. So for all your day drinks, cans, all that sort of thing, that's a very handy thing. Again, very smart, looks very nice and neat in this custom built box. And the third one is just that actual another storage area. So you can never ever have too much storage on a boat. So something that you're always looking for, and that's just another storage area. But this is fantastic. That's an entire box there that you could keep potentially safety gear, anything you want, something that's nice and easy to grab. Better than being sort of tucked up underneath the bow cushions, etc. It's a nice big storage area there, which you could also put an additional slide, drawer fridge in there as well. In the middle of the boat, in the cabin here, we've got a nice kill tank. So that basically has got ability to fill with salt water and drain. So that's just a true kill tank. It can also be used as storage, and you may have seen in some videos that also is where they will put the holding tank if you go for a full flushable toilet with holding tank option. So just make sure, again, you do understand what you're going to get, because with this really cool new model, there's just so many different configurations that you can get it set up in. Again, this is a Profish model, the top of the line for the 2350 Supercab. And this one does also come with these really cool, almost like a motorbike shock suspension seating. So again, when I was out on Sunday, it was a little bit rough. That was a really nice feature to have for both driver and passenger. They both come with that really nice suspension seating. And again, we've just got more additional storage in those seat boxes at the bottom. Now, with the V-berth sleeping area in the front of this boat, they've changed it a little bit, and they've actually gone with a fold-down gas strut, which is really handy. So that works. There's basically on both sides there's a gas strut that fold that down, which allows for obviously a larger bed. And then the idea being is that this is actually a little fold-out centerpiece that actually locks in here and just allows for a nice size bed. So I'm 6'2". It is a little tiny bit short for myself, but if I had to have a night's sleep, there would be absolutely no dramas in doing so. So just another good feature, but it's trying to give you the biggest bed as possible by still maximizing the amount of time or space in the boat, because remembering that, you know, we don't spend a lot of time sleeping normally. Better off having the day space that you're going to use much more commonly. So that's not the only bed in this boat, which is something that people are not yet quite aware of, and it's got to be sort of shown. So if we actually remove the two back cushions off these two seat boxes, what this allows is it actually allows for another berth. So by pushing those two back and by setting these two cushions up in the middle, I can then basically have another berth, which is actually surprisingly quite long, because this is almost the full internal width of the cabin. So if I put that into place, I've now got another berth, and again, being 6'2", I can actually lie down there quite comfortably, have a good night's sleep. So a few different options, very smart thinking. They're obviously just a seat box for during the day and for the majority of use, but the fact that they can double into another decent bed is actually really smart. And then again, if you're in a cold climate, dropping this rear curtain, you're going to keep it relatively nice and warm in here as well. So pretty smart work and smart thinking by the team over at Stabicraft. So good work. Always like seeing improvements. So as we come in the cabin, one of the other things that they've done is they've really smartened up the look of the cabin. I've talked earlier about the glass, and it sort of really sharpened up the look of the boat. But they've gone with some really cool additional storage pockets, grab rails. They've got that U-deck on the side now, which just sort of finishes off the internal cabin. It's a really good looking boat. Maybe I'm biased, but I really think this is just that next level to some of the models that they've released previously. We're in a warm climate here. On the weekend when it was quite warm in the morning, these were beautiful. Basically just dumping air straight down onto the driver and passenger, and just basically another option for getting additional ventilation in the cabin, especially if it's a little bit of spray around. You might want to keep the window shut. If it's not too rough, you can obviously open those roof hatches, which is another good reason for getting ventilation through the cabin. So one of the things that people a lot of do is to pack a lot of gear underneath the V-berth cushions, and it just means to get it out is quite time consuming. This is quite a smart idea. They've actually gone with an open-sided storage area. So if you just wanted to put things in the side of the boat that you can just quickly reach in, grab them out if you need to. There's more storage there, but it's quite easy to get to now with the way that they've done that. And when you remove that rear bench seat cushion, you've also got these two very large storage areas on either side. You've got plenty of storage up the top here. You've got well-pointed drink holders. As I said before, storage, but you've got USB and 12-volt charging in there, so you don't have to have cords and things running around on your deck. You can actually tuck everything in nice and away. Utilised that on the weekend, which was quite good. But yeah, lots and lots of rails. I love this new feature in the middle of the roof. Not only does it provide for lighting, but it's just an excellent grab rail. So 5 adults and 2 kids on board. We had a couple standing up in the middle of the cabin, and that grab rail was just very solid to sort of hang on to. So another addition that I like. Now you may have seen it on, say for example, the new 1850 or 2050 Supercab, but these are pretty smart. There's a little step just in here so you can access the side coaming of the boat. And like those as well, they've actually cut in, basically into the side of the cab, they've cut in like a footstep. So I can fairly easily walk around the side of this boat if I needed to. And the other thing while we're up here that you'll notice is just this huge roof. So with these rails on the roof that are obviously great to grab onto, there's also the potential for putting, you know, a storage box or storage crate up here, empty jerry cans, things that people are going to take on big extended trips. They can be stored out of the way up on the roof without being too much weight. And then this front area here gives us access to our big drum winch. So in this cavity here, we have a nice big drum winch, which we have yet to fit the anchor, but that is where, yeah, a big Maxwell drum winch would fit. Obviously switch from inside the cabin. So yeah, we've fitted our new 2350 Supercab onto a big Redco Alloy Series trailer. So these are a really great trailer, really well priced for what you get, and torsion suspension, the list goes on. But we just thought I'd just quickly show you that when you can order these boats, we order them with a block from the factory as a welded block to suit, and then we fit a full boat catch system. So the idea is this just allows you to launch and retrieve literally by yourself, which is exactly what you need to do sometimes when you're with family and inexperienced other boaties. But it just makes everything safer and a lot easier. So yeah, if you haven't already, check out the boat catch on the front of a Stabicraft. Okay, we're here now at the helm of the new 2350 Supercab. So something else we really like, and from the technician's point of view is very handy, is that they've now come up with a removable panel here. So this here is a large panel that you can see can be removed, and it allows us to do things like do the cutouts for our big screen sounders, GPSs outside of the boat, keep things like aluminium swarf away, but it also gives us really good access to doing some really high-end wiring and things that we're going to be doing on these very elaborate sort of boats and fit outs. So from the factory, you get a large two sort of switch panels there. They're all labeled and they come with a lot of options that are standard and also some upgrades that you can put on the boat. As I said before, we went with a single 300 and currently got it set up in stage 2 Helm Master. So the new Helm Master controls and full electric steering. So very, very nice to drive. And then we looked at it on the back of the boat, but here is our little zip wake control. So when you do go with a zip wake system on the boat, you do have this little control panel here that you can do all your activation of those trim tabs. So yeah, so overall, just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful Stabicraft model that they've released. The performance was just unbelievable on the water on the weekend, and I just can't believe how well this works as a really great family cruiser slash fishing boat. So if you are in the market for a really large trailer boat and you want something that you can go anywhere at any time and feel safe doing so, come and have a chat to us, because this is an absolute beautiful Stabicraft model that they've released, and sales are speaking for themselves worldwide. They're going very, very well. So can't talk about it enough, and just how good it is and how much of a pleasure it was to drive on the weekend. If you haven't registered already, we do have an on-water day for the 2350 Supercab, so jump on there because it's filling up really fast. But overall, yeah, check it out. This is a really great model, and hopefully you enjoyed this walkthrough video.